Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and I want to say a big thank you to everyone who puts on the Long Beach Expo with all the coins and all the currency and all the collectibles. Uh, Taryn, Sam, Heather, the people I met there, the other people I didn't meet, thank you for your work. And this is a review of that show, the Long Beach Expo. Nice little folder here with all of their sponsors and whatnot on it. And if you will bear with me, I went down to the LBE. And we're going to go ahead and talk about that in a minute. But first, I apologize ahead of time for all the names that I didn't get. But Ken, Dave, Bill, Polar Currency, Tim, Clarence, Tim, Eugene, Dave, Dennis, Steve, Rich, Ryan, Luke, Chad, Kenny G, Jeff, David, and Queenie, Ethan, Jeff, Casey, Gary and Lynn, Mike, Dusky, Steve, Blake, Alex, Juan, Johnny, Brett, Shane, Rob, everybody, all the peoples, thanks for coming by and saying hi. Really appreciate it. Nice to meet everyone down in the LBE. So it would be the LBC, I think, is how that goes, you and me. But anyway, the Long Beach Coin Expo. Let me talk first about I've said in the past I wasn't gonna go do it, and so I'm just looking for a little bit of humble pie served cold. Look, I knew that I'd have a good time at the Long Beach Expo. Let me explain for people who don't know why you don't like going to SoCal or other people don't like going to Southern California. It's because mainly it's just big, busy, and trafficy there. So as an example, there's a stretch that I drove back home in where it took me an hour and 15 minutes to go 20 miles. And I'm pretty sure that's in every Saturday event in the area that I was driving through. And so it's just one of those things. Now, mind you, the temperature was a disgusting 65 to 75 degrees the entire 96 hours I was there. 72 hours I don't know how long I was there for. It was like a time vortex. Anyways, the weather was absolutely lovely. And, so I get it. I get why people live in Southern California. And believe it or not, the people there are very friendly. So y'all, and by the way, culturally, it's a really great place because like we tried a Thai restaurant and they had the best Thai milk tea I've ever had, and I would drive there just for that. So that means next year I'll be back. If not for the show, then for the Thai milk tea. So the show itself, let me try to approach this from a different set of eyes. Okay, I was fortunate enough to have some different set of eyes with me, so I think I got better feedback for you all about the show itself. Because sometimes I explain things a little bit too much from the dealer side of things, although I try to take the collector side as much as I can because I think that's very important. The Long Beach Expo in June, I have a lot of people say, don't go to the Long Beach Expo in June, don't go there. And they say that because it's not as busy from a dealer standpoint as the February. The February is the big show from the dealer standpoint. It's apparently a lot more heavily attended, which I find interesting. But summertime is very hit and miss. As far as like people are out of town, the locals might not be around, but there's hundreds of dealers there, hundreds. And the guys who complain about the Long Beach Expo, they're old school, right? So they remember when they didn't have to share a room with sports cards and, with Funko Pops. But the room is 85% coins and currency, and there are some empty booths. But if you're a collector, you've got just an all-day event to be at least one day. I mean, you can't cover that show in one day as a collector. So there's no reason not to go there. You're not going to like miss out on some great deal by going to the June show instead of the February show if you're a collector. 30 minutes from Disney, right? And it's real. So if you're a family man and you want to take your family somewhere, this is really a nice time to go and do it. Now, I can't promise the weather is always going to be that nice. I mean, it's a little bit warmer in Anaheim. The center itself is right on the bay, so it has a different climate than once you get in like inland, half an hour or whatever. So Also, if you like different types of collectibles and different expositions, different things to see, they have big displays. Usually they had the Ship of Gold set up, which was just amazing from the SS Republic. It's one of my favorite, absolute favorite things to look at. I didn't know about this, but Saturday morning was like the kids' treasure hunt day. And so there's like at least 3 people dressed up as pirates. And if I knew we were cosplaying, I would have given Jamie an eye patch to wear. We would have had a great time. And maybe next time, you know. So I will probably be back at the show. I can't promise next June, but it is 3 times a year, and it's definitely worth me going to the show. Also, from the collector's perspective, there is, let's see, if you like the baseball cards and stuff, if you want to meet the experts, they have Coin. PCGS had, you know, a coin expert you could talk to who's in the grading room, and also a paper currency expert on a different day. And so there's a lot of little activities to do over and above the actual just looking at coins. They also have a runoff competition between the finest known sets, so the registry sets. So for this, they had a runoff with commemoratives. So the finest known commemorative $half sets, you get to look at some of the coins and then vote which set you thought was better. And beautiful coins. And the only thing I would say from my perspective is they didn't quite promote that well enough, because, you know, I heard them announce it once with 10 minutes left in the voting. And that's something that maybe when people were checking in who are not dealers, maybe they were told more about it up front. But I didn't go through that exact same experience that a visitor to the show would have gone through. Oh, and DJ Moneybags was in the house, just so you know. I had to laugh. The guy who came over the radio once in a while to announce things, DJ Moneybags. Also, as long as I'm being a little critical of the show, for the raffle, they gave you 1 minute to get up to the front of the show and collect your raffle prize. And I was joking, I'm going to file an ADA complaint, because if you're backed by the Ship of Gold at the other end of the Expo Center, there's no way you're going to make it in a minute. So from the actual show standpoint, great show. The show itself was very busy on Thursday. So the show is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show. So a 3-day show. And the things that were different for me from this show from some of the other ones was, of course, Thursday was extreme. The room is huge, once again, so it's hard to tell how busy you are or how many people are there when you have a huge room. But the room itself was very busy all day on Thursday, I think, for everybody. Friday was not as busy. And Friday afternoon there were some lulls and stuff, but even then, there's a lot of people there, but it's just a matter of them circulating through the room. So Saturday, what I found interesting was, you know, on most 3-day shows, by the 3rd day, everyone is gone, Splitsville. And this was not exactly the case. Now, here's the frustrating part if you're a collector. The people at the front of the room, usually in a show like this, they're like the high rent district. They're usually paying more. So it's like your big companies, whatever your auction houses, you guys with the $1 million coins, they're usually up front. They're also usually the guys that leave first, from my experience, which makes a little bit of sense as far as like some of the guys that have paid for them a lot of money to be at the show, to stay there longer makes a little bit of sense. I guess there's some type of logic to that. But I will say that it seems like, as a percentage, it felt like fewer people left the show, fewer dealers left the show really early. You know, we had Scaramouche at 1 o'clock on Saturday, so we were out of there a little early. The show opened up at Saturday at 10, so we still got a good 3 hours under our belt, which was good. But most people leave shows dependent upon whatever their transportation processes are. So that's a thing. Security. Security will always be an issue at shows. It always has been an issue. People like to look at it like it's a brand new thing, and there's things that you really have to be aware of when you're at a show, both as a dealer and as a collector. The hubbub there was that a dealer had a backpack stolen from behind his table, and apparently somebody else had seen this guy like going behind somebody else's table and like yelled at him or something. I don't know. It's all scuttlebutt. It's all scuttlebutt. But the point is, it's just dealers are generally very comfortable with having nothing more than a 6-foot table between them and whatever. Like people leave their tables all the time, and even with your stuff locked up, it's still like, there's no way you can watch everything at the same time at a show that size. You just can't. When you're at a show where there's only 30 dealers, you could probably have a couple security guys at either end of a row. Like when I did the PCGS members only show, literally it's just 2 rows with like, a total of 35 dealers. You could see from 2 vantage points anyone going behind a table ever. But this thing has like 7 columns of tables, if not 8, that go for, 2 football fields. And so it's a totally different thing. For those of you who are into other sports collectibles, PSA was there. They must have been doing something very specific on Saturday morning, because Saturday morning when the doors opened, there was a mad rush past us because we were in the sports section. Now, technically the sports section started like another table and a half down from us, but the sign above us said sports section, so we were pretty easy to find that way. But PSA must have had something going on there. PCGS had on-site grading at the show, which I saw a lot of people taking advantage of. And so, once again, as far as it goes for a collector, you can participate in lots of different things and see lots of different types of dealers. There are dealers there that do only ancients and world. There were dealers there, several dealers there that do paper money. Johnny Cash, Sergio Sanchez. So you see these guys that have really expensive paper money, things of that nature that you don't always see at some of the other regional shows. So there's definitely opportunities for everybody at a show like that. So what else happened? Got to go to Stax Bowers, and I filmed a few little things on the fly there. And also there's a PCGS does something called Slab Lab, which is their video series where Seth Chandler of Witter Coin, America's Coin Shop, goes ahead and interviews people. We did a segment there, so I don't know when that's going to air, but thanks again to Seth for that. It's hard for me to describe Seth other than that you know who he is, because if you watch him ever on Instagram, that's Seth. I mean, he's just go, 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 go. And but we had a nice time, and he's a fun guy. So anyway, Long Beach Expo, June show. Don't shy away from the June show. If you are a collector, you're not going to miss anything by going to the June show instead of the February show. I mention that because I know a lot of you have family life still. And so for a lot of you, summertime is the time you can get out. And so if people say don't go to the June show, don't listen to them. I understand that it's not going to be as busy as the February show, but, take the kids to Disney, spend a day at the coin show. There's some good trade-offs. There's lots of fun things to do there culturally. The ocean is there. The ocean's there. So for you ocean folk, it's a place to be in the LBC. All right, guys, you and me. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.